And I also had the opportunity to interact and actually work with some really strong systems thinkers, both within EWB and outside. And it was through those interactions that I learned that systems thinking is much more than the toolkit that I originally thought it was. It's a way of thinking. It's cognitive practices that allow us to see and sense opportunities in the complex adaptive systems that are around us. These practices can help us to understand and navigate the global scale systems so that we can work to unlock the human potential and fight the inequalities in the world that make my heart ache. I was getting pretty excited. I came to see the wide array of tools that are available to help us support those cognitive practices and enable our learning. Polarities, systems thinking, storytelling, scenario planning, theory U, icebergs, ladders of inference, systems mapping, and system archetypes. And that's just a few, and we've had the opportunity to sample a bunch of them in the last round of sessions. I came to see that systems thinking has emerged from and is applied in a diverse range of fields, from evolutionary biology to engineering, organizational learning, cognitive psychology, computing, and many more. And I found roots of systems thinking in particle physics and ancient religion. And that actually helped to open doors for myself and find new spiritual sides of myself. You can bet I hadn't expected that when I went online and looked up systems thinking. And then came the first relationship or crisis. I was arguably a little bit over-enamored with systems thinking, and at the same time, paradoxically, still biased by my linear deconstructive problem-solving lens that I picked up at school. It was at that point that I happened on a quote by Donella Meadows, and it actually, Frances echoed it earlier in her speech, and it brought about an aha moment for me. In the overly idealized early stages of my love affair, I'd fallen into the seductive trap of believing that systems thinking would allow me to wrap my brain around complexity and somehow turn systems thinking into systems control. But as Meadows said, it's not about controlling systems, for that's impossible. We must learn to dance with them. And that's where my relationship is now. It's entering a maturing and deepening phase where I'm learning how to dance. In that aha moment, I also remembered my lesson from my MBA that I'd forgotten. That lesson that there are many lenses and tools out there, powerful lenses and tools, and the trick is to be aware of which ones we're using and what their inherent limitations are. And they're all limited in some way. They're all necessarily limited. As George said this morning, the beautiful medallion that we take with us on our quests is just a medallion. Now, I finished my undergraduate over 15 years ago, and I'm happy now to see evidence of the lenses and tools of systems thinking starting to make their way into different levels of education. And I believe this incorporation is crucial because the world needs more leaders who have the capability to think in these ways. We need them if we want to see that the dreams that we talked about this morning actually become a reality within one generation of change. And that's why I'm particularly excited about this conference. Conference is a time when the EWB network converges for a short period, and it gives us a chance to compound our learning from the year. And we do that by actually having the conversations and telling the stories, and then when we come out of conference, it goes out and takes root all over the country. And what might that look like this year? And what could it mean for us? Well, I see three big opportunities. First, there are many opportunities to leverage EWB's strengths. Our strengths in marrying theory with practice, systems thinking with systems doing, and collective intelligence with collective action. So that's that EWB strength in deciding to not settle for the or, but instead find the and. The second big opportunity I see in the next couple of days of conference is the opportunity to find out what's already been happening across the network, how these ideas have already been taking root and shaping the future of EWB and the world around us. So we can apply, and when we come out of those sessions, we'll be able to go back to our chapters and our distributed teams and teams overseas and start to apply what we're thinking at another level. We can apply it to the existing and new change ventures in Canada and Africa, to our incubator teams at the national, regional, and chapter levels, at our universities, within our companies, and working with our partners in Africa. For ultimately, we are all linked. The separation we sometimes perceive is only in our own minds. It's of our own creating, and we must look past that. And the third and final thing that I'm really excited about with the potential of systems thinking is to help enable us to achieve the personal level transformation that I believe is essential to the system, the grand scale system transformation that we're seeking. For those of you who desire to deepen your exploration, as I have, by pursuing your dreams at a full-time position at EWB, we currently have opportunities available, and there's going to be more coming up as well. And as we heard, there's a session the talent team is running at 8 o'clock, so right after dinner, or whenever it's going to wind up being now, maybe a little bit later. But before we get to dinner and the closing, in the spirit of Peter Block, who noted that questions keep us together while answers drive us apart, I'd like to close off by posing a couple of questions for you to reflect on. First is, what are the big questions that have emerged for me today? And the second is, how am I going to explore them over the coming days and months? So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to reflect on those on your own and maybe jot down a couple notes in a book. And then I'm going to ask you to get up and find two people you don't know to share with and have a little bit of a discussion. So again, the two questions are, what are the big questions that are emerging for me today? And how am I going to explore them over the coming days and months? So reflect quietly for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to ask you to get up and find some new friends. Okay, so now if you could get up and actually move around and find two new friends to discuss your thoughts together with.
Est-ce que tu préfères que je parle un français international? Non, mais ça pourrait, certaines personnes préparent. Oui, mais c'est plus facile le français international. Plus comme le français. La translation est géniale. Mon professeur de awkward the internet.
Yeah, I guess so.
Could Suzanne Fish please come to the stage?
I hate to cut this short, but as Rihanna said, we're a little bit short on time, and there's going to be lots of opportunity to carry these conversations into the evening. Oh, there we go. Look at that. She can get a shh without even having the microphone. That's pretty impressive. But what I'd love to do just before we wrap up is if there's a few people that would like to share their questions or their thoughts. We have the two microphones up front here, and I'd really love to kind of harvest or extract some of the richness that's in the room right now and kind of launch us into the conversations in the evening. So if there's something you'd like to share, please just make your way up to one of the microphones and there we go. First volunteer.
All right, my name is Kai. I'm from the University of Western Ontario. And my question, or what have I learned as a big question coming from today, was how can it be of the greatest utility and effectiveness in making my 2036 a reality? And I found that this was common with the one person I shared with because our dreams are all pretty lofty, I bet, from the first session that we had today. So I hope the next 2 days will help me ground myself and find a solution to that. And I hope it'll ground your dreams as well. Thank you.
Who else wants to share?
Hi. So one of the questions that
Can you let us know who you are first?
Oh, yeah, I'm Diana, and I'm from the McMaster chapter.
Great.
And today I just learned about so many new issues, and one of the questions that I had was, how do you choose which ones that you want to get involved in? And I guess that the thing that I'm going to try to pursue is just like be really realistic and really like focus on what what's really important to me and how passionate I am about something. And yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. I think it's a pretty safe bet that you're going to find some people who want to explore that question with you. So, how about one more?
Cool. This one's on, right? So my question is a combination of Maria's question, who's the person that I talked to, and the one that I had. So Maria said that she was thinking a lot about the big question that we talked about in the homeroom sessions of Leadership Development Day yesterday, which was basically how do we solve the disconnect that exists between the network, all the chapters, and the venture model. And the question that I had is how do we plan for uncertainty, which was part of the leadership development sessions that we did yesterday. How do we plan for uncertainty in trying to figure that out? So how do we plan for uncertainty and figure out if we're actually bringing the ventures and the network closer together over the next several months, through the conference and over the next several months. So that was the question that we both had combined.
Any thoughts on how to explore it?
Any thoughts on exploring that big question?
Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I think there's actually a session coming up in 15 minutes or something where there's a bit of a dialogue on that. But
I would say that we should have some, I think the term yesterday was proof points, but we should have some proof points by the end of the conference to figure out if we have brought the network and the chapter together by the end of the conference, and then, of course, several months from now. But
excellent. That's great. Thank you.
Oh, and Ryan.
So that's the end of the formal programming today. We have dinner coming up, and then again the talent team session at 8 p.m., which I really hope to see everyone at. But to end off and to build a little bit of energy to launch us into the evening's conversation, and recognizing that the best way to learn is just to get in there and do it. Now I'm going to struggle with this one a little bit. Joignez-vous à moi pour danser. Please join me in a bit of dancing.
Mark Abbott is going to dance. I sure as heck hope that you are going to dance too. Okay.
This is my enjoying learning to do new things. So.
No, we don't know when tomorrow might bring, but the future, the hours away. So me, I live my life today. Me, I live my life today. Yeah, so now me talk what I want to talk, me got enough to say. So me, I live my